Now this is a high resolution of the crank. I believe this is a 13 or 14 millimeter socket. And this little tool works absolute wonders for pulling the crank through without hitting on it, because when you hit on it you can throw them out of balance. And I want to learn how to balance cranks, and I haven't learned that yet. That's my next thing, is I want to learn how to balance everything, blueprint it beautifully so that there'll be no problems. And here's the picture again as we start to pull through. There's your bottom. This is your bottom crank pin, your big end of the bearing, and your big end of the rod and the bearing underneath it, and your thrust washers. And all these have to be in alignment somehow. I'm not expert on that, but if it's thrown off in the alignment, your high-speed thing has got a problem. Now, if you'll notice where I've taken the let's see. I've taken the rod, and what I do is I'll bring it up and I will lay it on the back right here, or I'll put something on it so that it doesn't fall down in here. And when you get your on the other side here, your crank seated in your bearing, it's only that much right there, right here. But once you do, you just won't pull anymore, and it'll be fine. It's equal on both sides of the case. It's not rocket science. All the shops do this kind of work, but no one does it on a moped, because mopeds are considered, if they break, just throw the damn things away and buy another one. That's just the way it is in America. So this one is seated here, and you can see how much gap that I have right in here and along the edge and over here. Now, it would have been a lot better if I could have done this with a lathe, but I'm not going to pay some guy $200 that's never done it before, doesn't know what he's doing, to do it. And here is another way that I do it, right here. I will put a large 2-inch washer over the crank that I'm pulling, and this what this does is spreads the weight of the pull. And really, there's not really that much to pull, but you just want to be careful with it. Like I said, it's not the space shuttle. You're not working on a 600 horsepower computerized Ferrari. It's a glorified weed whacker engine. But it's good just to do things right. And this is what it looks like on one side. And it fits right through that washer beautifully like it was made for it. Then what we do is we've taken off the washer right here. And the deal, and we've taken off the this short end tool, and then what I'll do is I will take this nut off, and I'll leave this tool right here, and I'll put the nut on the other tool, which will fit on the smaller end of the flywheel side bearing. So we've got the crankshaft right in place. Everything is nice and clean. There's no dust, there's no dirt. You should do this like in where it's warm, where there's a lot of light. You only want to do it once. So, drink a few beers if that's what it takes, or whatever, whatever. Well, I used to be young once, so let me put it that way. But that was a long time ago. And put on some good music that you like, and just relax and consider it art. Now here's a good side view of, and I'm trying to explain this all to someone that has never seen this before. But this bearing right here, I mean this crankshaft is fully seated on the right side, on the side, on the variator side right here. You can see the edge, and you'll notice the size of the variator screw compared to the other side. Now if you get this in right, what will happen is your conrod will just lay against the very edge of this case, and it goes in half and half on one side, half on the other. And there's that. Then comes my gray moto seal. And like I said, I get my Q-tips, and if you will look very closely at this, you will notice that this is not gray metal all the way along here. All of this is a light coating of this gray moto seal, and the gray moto seal is used for motocrossers, and I never used it well because I don't race anymore. They didn't have it when back when I was racing. We were trading gasoline and stuff to the Indians. They didn't have gray moto seal back then, let's put it that way. So I put a light coat on this small side here, and I put a light coat on, let's see, where is it? On this other side. Now it's very important that you don't get any all over your crank. And notice that I also put the moto seal about a 1/4 inch all the way along the bottom, all the way along the fissure. I do that because I want to get a good seal on it, and I also want an area that if I have a leak somewhere in here down the road, and I notice that that's supposed to be brilliantly clean, and there's some oil on it, then I got a leak problem. So it gives me a test of the leakage, and I put it. This will give you another picture here. As you can see with this 50mm crank in here, you can see how much room I have. It's not perfectly cut. It's just good enough for me. It's as long as you have a millimeter of clearance around here, that's all you need. So I've got everything clean. I've got my Moto Seal Permatex. I've got it on there. I'm letting it dry. I'm letting it get tacky. And I put the Moto Seal on the bottom here too, all the way along there. I don't get it in anything. I'm starting on the final case pull together, and this is it right here. Let's see. Now, as you can see, these bearings have not been pulled through on this side. And you can see I've only got maybe a 1/2 inch. I don't know how many millimeters that is, but you want to make sure your studs are lined up right here, because when you go to crank down on your puller here, it has a tendency to move the pieces away from each other. There's a stud here, and I believe there's a stud up on the other side. And we'll put that together in the next video, and I hope you like these pictures. I really enjoyed making them.